So, as we enter, am I started? And yes. So, as we enter this interesting period where people are finally getting outraged about the bad gameplay that's existed for years, why now? I don't know. I think maybe it's really just the big content creators are finally covering it because enough people are talking about it that they can't ignore it. Um, there's a lot of answers we're gonna be they're gonna be forced out of these big content creators in EA Sports without a doubt. Like why when all of us, let's call us regular players, including mid-level and low-level content creators, why have we all been ignored talking about the inconsistent gameplay forever? And then now finally when there's enough comments the gameplay gets so bad that you guys finally decide to start speaking on this issue that all of us have had problems with forever. And why do only the top content creators seem to have good connection? All that we're going to cover more of. But in the meantime, this is still the best football game, right? And it's going to be infuriating at times with how bad the gameplay is. But the way that I've found to keep myself encouraged to play, to keep myself motivated to play, is by utilizing the vastly improved evolutions. I'm also going to start playing drafts and stuff, but that's for a different discussion. What I wanted to show you is kind of what I've started to do. So, up to this point, Xavi Simons, my best evolution. He's incredible, right? And EA Sports, in totally stupid fashion, which doesn't surprise me, they have a tendency to make the same players release them like they released a new version of Xavi Simons that's very similar to this, but the thing is my version, like, and typically all of the evolution versions are always going to be cheaper. Not to mention you can string together different evolutions, whereas typically like the players they release will have too many playstyles or playstyle pluses or whatever. So you still typically have the advantage. Not every time, but typically have the advantage when you're creating the player as opposed to trying to just hoard enough coins to constantly miss every evolution, but buy. Hopefully, EA Sports releases the player and you can buy him. Like, that's not a safe bet. So if you're into evolutions, it's a good way to stay engaged with the game and not have to worry so much about all of the off the pitch nonsense. So you can evolve players, use players that you created uniquely, string together evolutions the way you want to, and go out and play with that team, right? To where you have this unique feel in a game that's getting more and more monotonous because of the one meta tactic approach that people use, is the one meta player type, the one meta play style that everyone hunts for players that have that, and everything just gets to be monotonous. So this is a way to stay unique because you literally have a choice as long as the players meet the evolution requirements. And there's plenty of players that do for all of them. This Hasagawa is an insane evolution, right? This Camavinga, very good evolution. As I keep going, I have two coming up that are insane. This Kika Nazareth, she still has some work to do, but is an 85 rated card going from 75 rated. She's going to be an absolute beast. She's still good enough to get on the field, borderline start, right? But still, just to get her to that point. So you got to remember, sometimes you're just setting up players for future evolutions. For instance, this oh my goodness, where's he at? Yes, this Havertz card, incredible card, right? Overall, like, we've had special Havertz cards. We'll see if we get one this year or not. But he was extremely low rated, so this took a lot of work. There's been a lot of smaller evolutions, and this one big one that is going to put him about one or two evolutions away from being an absolute beast, whether it's cam or striker, right? I mean, he started out, he didn't even have the ability to play cam at all. Now shadow striker plus plus. His shooting's right there, dribbling's even right there for his bigger stature. 84 is fine. He needs to get improvement on passing and a little bit on pace. Wouldn't mind getting some physical improvement, but he's just a huge presence on the pitch. Great build for where I would want him to play in the cam role. So we'll see. You could potentially have him and Xavi Simons in a 4-2-2 that would dominate two different types of players, but both dominant in their own ways. You could also put him as a dominant striker without a doubt, or even a CM as a box to box, right? Technically speaking, you would want him as more of a playmaker than a box to box, but he doesn't have much defense ability. But his presence alone can be huge. But he's been my biggest project, and I know he's going to pay off. He's getting close. This last Champions League Evo got him pretty good. And you guys will have to forgive me, man. My mind's got a big fog over it. I'm getting over flu A right now, so it's just like I'm battling through though. I'm battling through. So as you can see, like when I'm doing these evolutions, typically speaking, I'll either play events or I'll go in and play squad battles, and it allowed me to get everyone except for Pele. But you go and look, because I've been doing so many evolutions and using squad battles, I literally have what 12 games left, and I'll have Pele done. That's too easy, right? I'll have them done by next week. And now I have all the silver icons, which, by the way, eventually we will be able to evolve them, mark my words. And they're going to end up being top players for you, for sure. I already know it. They're going to have a silver squad or silver like tournament league, whatever you want to call it, each season for a while. But I'm assuming like at the end of the World Cup, maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. But eventually I think we will be able to evolve these silver icons, and they're going to end up being beasts, right? But anyway, and there's still good evolutions here too. I have two going right now. Both this Achiampong I've been working on for a while. He can play right back or center back or even CDM. His shooting, I'd like to go up, even though CDM rarely shoots. 50 shooting is just a little too low for even one shot, much less several over the course of time. Usually if you're CDM shooting, it typically ends up being important, man. So as a center back though, he can absolutely do damage. He needs more player roles, but that's what these types of evolutions will get, right? That's what these types of evolutions will get you. So he'll, at the end of this, you see here, he'll have block and anticipate. That's a huge pickup. This Jean Francis card, she's going to end up being a beast. I already have a little ladder that I have her stepping up with the evolution. So she'll do dynamic distributor, and then she'll go into, where is it? Dynamic distributor into defensive shift, and she turns to an absolute monster, right? Just to give you an idea, this Cornet card, look, he starts off at 67 defense. He would go to 82, right? And this card's going to be a beast as well, by the way. So if you start what I'm calling an evolutions to glory type of situation, you can turn a game that's getting real monotonous, that feels very soulless, and make it fun, right? Especially suffering through the flu. I'm towards the end of it, but it's still just this influenza A, if you've ever had it. It messes with your whole body, aches, your head hurts, and so just getting motivation to do anything lately has been terrible. And so good thing I had the evolutions to kind of keep me motivated to keep going. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be on here right now with the way the game's going, and now especially with the gameplay taking another tumble, right? I mean, it's got to be truly bad for something to be ignored all these years, which is miraculous, by the way. EA Sports, no doubt, is pulling strings behind the scenes to not let this issue out, because clearly it's going to cost them a lot, or they might even have to start from scratch, many are saying, which is why they're ignoring this. Either way, though, they've held it off for far longer than it should have been held off. So with all that being said, doesn't give you much motivation to play. So focus on the evolutions. They can really be a blast. And I didn't even go over, there's a couple other ones. This Portuguese backline Titan can be a beast, like this Samakin card. I mean, look at this. That puts him right there. To be an absolute monster, right? And typically speaking, he's not a bad card either, right? You can look at the rolls there. Jockey, which is very good. Bruiser, since it was buffed up, is not bad. I feel like he's just missing a little bit more to be a truly key center back, to replace the center backs out there right now. But he can eventually be a beast. And that's without diving into these. You can only do 2 at a time actively. Oh, yeah, that Kalulu card is a beast. Check this out. If you want to do Kalulu, French International, Serie A, I mean, look at that. He could go right into your starting lineup. Again, I feel like missing that playstyle plus. I wish you would have like an anticipate plus or jockey plus, but still another key pickup for an evolution right there for 20K, right? This 30K card can get you going. I mean, check out this Douglas Luiz right here. Just that alone turns him into an absolute beast box to box. I mean, you could play CDM or you could play a CM box to box or playmaker. Obviously, I wish you would have a roll plus or plus plus as like a box crasher or deep line playmaker as a CDM, because I don't go the 4-5-1 route. I typically play 2 CDMs. So that's unfortunate, but I mean, you see there. So once I get done with the Gene Francis and the Gene Francis and the Achiampong evolutions, then I'll go to my next two, and that's how you do it, right? There's one more I wanted to show you too in my silver club that's actually a right back, and he's an absolute monster. Believe he's listed. He can play center back or right back, kind of like Achiampong. He can't play CDM. You wouldn't want him there anyway. 6'3", right? But he absolutely moves. So check this out. He started as a silver card. Makango, 82 pace, 80 defense, 81 physical. Just moved him from like a 72 to an 82 or 74 to an 82. One of the two. CB, he has defender plus. Left back, even he could play. You would just put him, on fullback. But why would you want him at left back or left mid? Obviously, center back, 6'3", lengthy. I mean, you look at his dribbling. He's already got, 71 agility without any boosts, 62 balance. That's huge. Even his dribbling alone, just on the ball, he's going to be incredible. Play styles, he's got the anticipate, all right, block. He's even got rapid. So you add a couple more, maybe even just one good evolution, and you have a beast of a center back. So make sure, even if you're not going for like an evolutions to glory where you're trying to make a squad full of as many evolutions players as you can, even if you're just playing the game just to play, keep track of these evolutions, because you can absolutely get beast players that will save you from having to purchase players. So for example, I'm going to use myself as a guinea pig and play Champs Online, which is super dumb. It's going to be infuriating. I'm not going to be able to move a bunch of games. It's going to get ugly. Who knows how long it will last, but just to give you an example of what all the outrage finally is about. And in doing that, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean with these, what these evolutions can do for your squads. So I exit out of my silver squad into my full squad. So here's what I got. Right now, Futre is the only player I have off the market, okay? Once I get, let's say, like even now, if I put Kika in, okay? You see, obviously, Paulo's better, but, I mean, Kika's got better shooting. Dribbling, Paulo's the best in the game, but her dribbling's not terrible. The same type of passing. Okay, physicality, Kika's destroying him. And then you got to remember, Kika, I mean, Paulo's always an exception to the rule because he's one of the best, if not the best dribblers. But 5'9", and Kika, of course, the women are typically smaller, 5'7", right? So even with the 86 dribbling, it feels a women 86 dribbling at like 5'7", 5'6". Even the taller women, 86 is basically like an 89 for men's. They're just more compact. They typically feel better on the ball, right? Claudia up top. I'm debating whether I want to go the lengthy route with Agamang or Claudia with the more L1. With the way I'm hearing the game is, I'm going to start Claudia up there. But let's say I did start Kika. That puts around 350, 400K back in my account to go after different players, right? I mean, Krejci, I'm using him because he's got the 99 defense boost right now. But this Van de Ven, this is a evolution, obviously. Absolute beast. And he'll be able to get more evolutions as we go. This Hasegawa, incredible. I mean, one of the best. Talk about special dribblers. She's right there with Futre. So, incredible with the Anticipate Plus. She'll win the ball, and then when she has it at her feet and has space to dribble, she's incredible. Even if she gets closed down, it's hard to get the ball for Xavi Simons. Right now, my MVP overall just feels incredible, right? This is another evolution. Hansen and Ramirez I packed. Okay, Zimbrota, same thing. out of an icon pack. Ramirez was a hero pack. Bompastor was another pack I forgot. And Khan, you guys know from ordering the Ultimate Edition. But that's what? 1, 2, 3. That's 3 current Evolution starters. And then right here's the last one I want to go over, but here's 2 more potential that pretty soon they're going to be in there. And Camavinga, if I didn't pack Ramirez, would be in there right now. Right? Now moving to this Geo. Check out this Geo card. I mean, guys, she is insane. No Playstyle Plus yet, but she could easily be in there as a starting striker. The only reason I'm going with the Claudia for now, so let's actually compare them real quick. I might be making a mistake. Yeah, so Gio's shooting's better, pace is way better. Claudia has her on the passing, dribbling just by 1, and then that's it. But what does Claudia have that I like? The low driven plus. The low driven plus kind of separates them. But we'll go with Geo, right? But I feel like once she gets even just one more evolution, she is going to be absolutely OP. She's what, 5'6", and she's a monster, right? And that was a 75 rated card, Brazilian Link, Brazilian Liga F with Hansen packed. I mean, you just gotta look for these evolution players. Don't just look at the popular ones. Don't just go online and look at the ones your favorite leakers or, oh, new evolution coming, these players fit. Okay, that's fine. But do they fit what you want in your team or what you need in your team? So make sure you're looking at that. It can save you coins. And then if you're like me and you're looking for something to spark your interest and keep this monotonous game where you're frustrated about the gameplay, keep it going. Since it is the football game you're stuck with if you want to play the best football game. Evolutions and Evolutions to Glory is the way to go. Mark my words. Keeps the game interesting. Keeps it unique for you too. At least in the sense of team building, right? As you can see, as far as tactics go, we're still pretty monotonous, but this just is the best setup, period. Right? 2 defensive mids. And then the positioning for the attack. It's just undeniable. Not to mention, Futre can't play as a left mid, only a left winger, and he's an absolute beast. So, for now, until I can get this Kika card evolved at least 1, maybe 2 more times, Futre's the man. And let's see how Geo does in champs with terrible gameplay. But the biggest key here, do your evolutions. Enjoy them. They keep the game interesting. All right. So, all the outrage about the terrible gameplay. Something I've been talking about for months. And then many trolls out there, even some supporters probably in the back of their mind were thinking this. Didn't say it, but I could see them thinking like he's making excuses or... Because through the naked eye, sometimes you can't see the lag. It's like, oh, he's just mad right now because he lost. Or I know the typical things, and I get it. I'm sure I thought that about certain things that people have said too, whether it's in FC and other things. But now, as you're seeing, because the gameplay is getting much worse all around for whatever reason, finally this issue is being addressed by all. And there is no more hiding it, right? For these players using the bad gameplay as a way to get around not having much skill, right? For the players trying to ignore like the content creators because they want to keep their following going. Just whatever reason it is, for those who know. And maybe some just don't know the game enough, they truly couldn't tell or didn't know. Thought people like me were just making excuses when we didn't get results we wanted, right? But that's all gone. And if anything, for me, it's helped because it does get infuriating dealing with it. But sometimes what's even more infuriating is when you feel like people like aren't seeing what's going on. So you're playing the game and you can barely move, but like you feel like people are like thinking, oh man, this dude's terrible. Even though it's clear as day to you and you'd think it would be to them what's going on. It ends up just being like a proving fest, right? As we go up 1-0 there. A proving fest of like, look, the gameplay really is bad. Look at this delay. Look at this delay. How do you think he caught up on that breakaway? when there's nothing to prove. Like, the truth is the truth. I'm speaking facts. But now that so many people are so outraged, right? And there's things coming out, and finally, for whatever reason, now's been the time, right? For whatever reason, with now being like now it being finally addressed as it should have been, I'm like more comfortable with playing because I feel like I don't have to spend, whether it's right or wrong. It might be stupid. I should have felt this way the whole time, but I feel like I don't have to spend time like or energy. Whoops. Explaining the situation because I don't have to spend time or energy explaining the situation because now everybody else is talking about it. It's no secret anymore, right? Nobody can possibly say, "Oh, you're making excuses" or whatever, because now it's out there, right? Your biggest content creators that you watch are talking about it, not just little old me with 1,500 subs that you don't want to trust, right? So anyway, with that being said, that's where I'm at. Nice ball. Beautiful defense so far. You're in. Oh my god, he moved there an hour ago and I saw him move it too and then I couldn't move afterwards. He's a very low level player, but he's got pretty good connection, I could tell. Well, that didn't go to the right player at all. See, like, garbage like that, guys, from dog crap gameplay is all this comes down to. And players like this that are getting their asses whooped, they benefit from it. Right? At the end of the day, that's what it is. Players like this that are getting their asses whooped, they benefit from it. It sucks, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do, man? Besides hope you can get around the bad gameplay. Or just not play, right? Told you that Hasegawa card is incredible. See, can you imagine, no offense to this player, but can you imagine being this bad and hanging on just for this? You know what I mean? What a goal, what a goal, what a goal. Way to focus, boys. Perfect timing, too. Right at the well deserved. Should be 4-5-1. Of course, if the gameplay is how it's supposed to be, how EA Sports wants it to be, this game's 4-5-0 right now. Remember his only goal. Everything else I was able to defend. Now, if you're wondering, well, how do you know he's not delayed like you? The fast twitch responses that I can't do. Example. When I saw him move his goalie way too early, I couldn't move the shot to the near post because I'm delayed too much. The fact that he was able to move his goalie like that quick, boom, bang, right? He could have probably moved his goalie back over if he wanted to. That's what shows you, right? The ability for him to get those tackle backs, which remember that's the only reason he scored. Notice I didn't get one tackle back because he was able to lose the ball and react to his mistake before I could even react from stealing the ball from him, right? Well, let's make him pay. Good D. Good. See what I'm saying? It's a 6-1 game if he can't react like this. Good D, buddy. Good. Oh my gosh. Just delay-ridden trash. Good D. Oh my God. I rest my case, guys. Now you guys see. This is why the delay. Because low-level players like this can stay in games that they wouldn't be in. Look at the game. Can't even keep up. Look how slow reacting look at this. What am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do about this? Just destroying him skill-wise. He doesn't even know what to do. Oh, yes. Yes! Keep moving your goalie, dummy. Notice I manually... Look it. I want you guys to see something. Look what I did there. Not even using AI. Use my manual changing. Right? Use my manual switching to get that third goal. If he was looking like he should have been, his center back was open. Now, typically you mark the center back, right? You run through with your striker. I purposely switched to Hansen, knowing that he wasn't a very smart player, wasn't a very good player. Purposely skipped over my striker, right, who is Gio, went to Hansen, and then look what I did. I was able to manually get the ball. And in games like this, unfortunately, look, the only thing good about that was I manually did it. So, kudos to me on that one. But yeah, this is the same thing I've been talking about for months, guys. And I had to sit there and listen to the trolls. Oh, excuses, this and that. And even though it was out there and there's plenty of comments and threads about it and stuff, None of like the big creators had said much about it. Right? Look how quick he's able to react. No, what? I had my body in the way there. How did he get that? See what I'm see? So you're seeing these little signs of this stuff, right? Oh my god, guys. This is what I'm talking about. It's an absolute joke. It's all delay. That's all it is. Eat on this, buddy. Eat that, little lag rat. And I don't even know if he meant to do it, but guess what? Whether he meant to score 2 lag goals or not, and if you don't get why that second one, well, the first one you saw, I stole the ball from him, he did a bad job, he lost the ball, right? Should be punished by getting attacked on now. Now you have to defend and get the ball back. Well, no. He gets the ball taken, and I'm so delayed, my pass doesn't go off. He's able to steal it off my foot and score from a bad angle. Second goal, my defender, if you noticed, whenever you press a command with your defender, they're going to try a shoulder charge or a shoulder tackle, whatever you guys want to call it, you can call it. You get what I'm saying, the X. And then when that doesn't work, you press the tackle button, right? Meaning like you're trying to get something to go through because you're delayed. So either way, a command's going to go through. Your player's going to do something based on you're pressing a defensive command. Benzema clearly had the ball. I'm clearly controlling the defender on his shoulder. So I'm going to do one thing or the other. Even if Benzema is strong enough to hold me off with Enforcer, right? Because people will say that, oh, Enforcer. No. When Enforcer is used, you can see the attacker holding the defender off. You can see the defender making a move towards the ball and getting held off. When you see just an attacker and defender running next to each other, doing nothing, that's called delay. I mean, you can hear through my mic this. I'm literally doing anything I can to get a tackle to go through, and yet nothing. So now, that was one game. That should have been a rout. That should have been 4-5-0. Okay? And instead, I'd hold on to the ball at the end. Because if you see my past streams or highlights, even of champs, this has happened many times, and champs in other games too. And magically, and usually it's because the opponent will turn up the pressure, and then you add that on top of the lag, and that will be enough, as well as your tired players. Because a secret to getting your players to get to moving more when there is delay, right? Because their stamina will actually be higher when there's delay too, because they're not moving as much. Like the literal runs they're making, AI movement even, is being delayed as well. Not just what you're seeing and you're shooting and passing and commands, but the movement they're supposed to be making that's triggered by whatever, the information coming from the server, whatever, it's delayed too. So you'll notice in delay games, you'll end a game in where your players would usually be, let's say, on yellow, besides maybe you have a couple with Relentless or Relentless Plus. Your entire team will still be on green stamina like it's minute 1 after a game in delay, because they're not moving. They're just jogging around. Their movement isn't triggering. They're just kind of standing there. So times that by 14 more games. It's not enjoyable, right? It's not enjoyable. And the thing I've been saying is, when you take that and then you put on top of that what a server, right? Using your server to stream. Sorry, your server. Goodness. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Flu A. It messes up your mind. What streaming, like I'm streaming on OBS on my laptop, right? So I'm using my internet. Yes, I'm plugged in with an Ethernet cable. I'm plugged in, but it's using the same router, the same internet, right? The same system. And so when I add in OBS and like streaming, what I'm doing right now, to an already delayed game, it's already a mess. Whether it's working in conjunction with it, like both of them are causing delay in their own ways, and that's pushing it to where it's like unplayable, or if the OBS is like adding to the issues. I don't know. I'm almost thinking it's two different ones, because whenever I'm streaming, it's a feeling of like almost slow motion. So I could be on a breakaway with 10 yards to spare before the defender catches me, and they'll still catch me before I get a shot. That does not happen unless I'm streaming, okay? Now, when I'm not streaming, what bad gameplay will look like is there's still that delay, right? But I'll still be able to move sharp enough and quick enough to at least somewhat get something off. Like maybe I'll get a shot, but I won't be able to react when the goalkeeper moves, even earlier when he moved way too early. That was a near post goal all day. But I couldn't react. I was too delayed. But if without stream, I probably could have reacted and hit that near post still. Like I'd still be delayed, but it's just that little slow motion type of feeling. Like the best way to describe it is like my hands will hurt after I play when I'm streaming, because I'm almost like trying to subconsciously press the controller harder, the buttons and everything harder, to get it to go quicker, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't, but I've tested it 100 times. I've made videos on it to show the difference from stream to not stream. I played an event. I forgot the exact event. Okay, but I lost my first game. I was on stream. I could tell. I was like, yep, I can see where this is going. Watch this. I got beat like 4-1, and it was a terrible game where like I was still dominating him in that 4-1 loss, but I couldn't get a shot off. He would take the ball, dribble down, and play a first time through ball and go score. Okay, so he'd have in the game I'm talking about, and it happened recently again too. He had 4 shots on goal and 4 goals. I had 13 shots, and this last one I had 0. And the first one I think I lost. I had 1 out of like 12 or 10 or something. So you can tell by the stats, right? You'll see like 4 shots, 4 goals, 5 shots, 5 goals, and on the other side you'll see like 20 shots, 1 goal, or 20 shots, 2 goals. It's ridiculous. That's all from the delay. And it's especially bad when streaming. But I wanted to use this as an example and show you. So not only is the gameplay bad for anybody, whether you stream or not, maybe somebody in your household, your brothers, sisters, cousins, mom, dad, is on the internet. And so you realize that you can't even play unless it's like middle of the night or whenever they're all sleeping, which is stupid. This is the only game that's like that. Okay? Not just streaming, it's for that too. And not only that, but even if you do that, you're not guaranteed good gameplay. This is the only game like that where you're rolling your dice. Every time you play FC, you're rolling the dice on what kind of game it's going to be. No other game is like that. It's the only game where it's like, oh, I want to play FC right now, but I can't. You didn't pay to have a part-time game. You didn't pay to have a lottery pick game where hopefully I can play. Oh, nope, no winner today. I'll try again tomorrow. You know? Like, you bought a game to be able to play whenever you want to play it. Online, offline, this mode, that mode. That is insane that we're just acting like this is totally normal. And shame on the big content creators, because I said in the video, I posed it as a question, like, do they not know what's going on? That was just me letting people get their thinking caps. We know all the big creators know what's going on. We know they see all the comments. They're always in the know. It's their job to be in the know. They have a ton of subscribers, a ton of comments inside, like connections with different things. They know more than us. So even if they were blessed enough to have great gameplay, whether EA Sports made it that way or they're just the luckiest guys that happen to stream and also happen to have great gameplay, right? Or they know some secret, or have, maybe it's like they have that dedicated internet and that's what it is and they've said it before and that's the trick. Whatever it is, they still could have talked about this issue that's plaguing their whole community, that's plaguing so many players, that's ruining the game. But it's almost like, if you go back, I said this in my video, I'm going to repeat it. If you go back and watch Nick Runs a Full Market, FC 26, he still is having a lot of good success. He just got recently a 15-0. He's gotten them before, but if you look at that recent one and you look at the early success like prior to the R1 rebuff, after they nerfed it, then he had a little bit of a bad run, and then they rebuffed it, and then he went back and got a 15-0. If you look, you can see like how many of his opponents, I'm not including like the fans of his it'll run into that will like give him the win. Like that one guy that beat him, but then let him win, right? He beat Nick, but goes, oh, here, you're on your way to a 15-0, here's a win. I'm not talking about those games. Those aren't his fault. His fans decide to do it, so be it. I'm talking about the games where he's winning and his opponents can't move. They might as well be giving him the game. They're not trying to, but they literally can't move. Go look how many games are like that, where once, no one pays enough attention, and I get it. Why would you? And not to mention, this is a fast-paced game, so it's hard to like detect delay for a lot of people. But when you really know what you're looking for and you go back, Nick's playing on 6 ping. Think about what more than half of his opponents are playing on. So these guys, they have no chance. You're playing even a decent player when you can't move. It's going to be a terrible experience. So I'm not saying that Nick knows this and so he didn't say it because it would almost expose him with everybody. But I am saying, like, there's no doubt that these bigger content creators are well aware. I mean, Inception, who knows Nick very well, they all know each other, you right, was the one big content creator that used to talk about the bad gameplay a lot. And then he's been quiet lately. I don't know why. So I'm kind of repeating what I went into last video, but the bottom line is we need answers. And if there's ever going to be a time that EA Sports gives us answers, it's going to be now, because this is the loudest anybody, including the bigger content creators, have gotten. And it's thanks to like the gameplay just topped the charts at an all-time high. It's been bad, but I guess whatever that threshold is, the same way with FC25 when people finally stepped up and started speaking the truth about how bad it was. We're at that point now. So let's not let our foot off the brake. All of us commoner folks, let's keep the messages piling up in the creators' comment section all over the social media for EA Sports. Let's get answers. Let's get EA Sports to take accountability and either start from scratch and give us some adequate servers or figure it out. No more Band-Aids. So that's where I'm at. I just want to give you an example of some gameplay too, and we'll go from there. But that's about all I can do, man. This Flu A kicks your butt, so I hope you guys don't get it. But if you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.